Hello everybody, it is me, Holly Stars. I'll introduce myself. I am a writer. I write plays, stand-up comedy, and I write these. I'll show you these. Are the Misty Divine mystery novels. So they're crime novels with a drag queen detective solving crimes in and around Soho, where she owns her nightclub in London. So I write these mysteries. First one, Murder in the Dressing Room, came out last year, and second one, Missing in Soho, is coming out in a couple of weeks in the UK and in June in the US. But if you follow me on my social media, you'll know that normally my content is about my nightmare neighbours, Fat Julie and Posh Sue, or it is about Take a Break magazine, or it's a silly news story that I've been somehow embroiled in. But I do keep getting asked, since these books have come out, to make some content about the writing of the books. And it's not hugely natural for me to talk about that kind of thing, but I'm going to give it a go. And so thought I would make something slightly different for YouTube to talk about. For this first one, well, we'll see how it goes, might be the only one. How do I dress my drag queen detective? And the reason is, a lot of the feedback that I get, lots of the comments I get, or the DMs I get from people that have read the book, is that they absolutely love the descriptions of what Misty is wearing in the different scenes. And there's a lot of thought that goes into what Misty wears and can wear in the various scenes. And so I thought I'd talk you through the different considerations and the different inspirations and references that I put together when I'm creating Misty's looks. We'll see. The first thing to think about when you're deciding what your drag queen detective is going to wear is, what is the vibe of the scene? What has she got dressed for? So if she's going to do a comedy show, she's going to be wearing something very different than if she's got dressed because she wants a bit of extra confidence to go and confront a suspect. And so that'll give me a kind of sense of a vague style. Is it comedy? Is it mystery? Is it confrontation? Is it action? Then I think, what is the mood of the scene? And that helps me think a little bit about colour. So if I'm thinking about the opening scene of book one, which I knew was going to be the picture that we put on the cover of the book, I wanted Misty in red because Lady, who owned the nightclub, was dressed in gold, and it's Lady's Bar, which is decorated in red and gold. So to establish them as the sort of central points of the bar, the sort of heartbeats of the bar, I wanted them in the same colours as the bar itself. So I knew from the beginning, for that opening scene, she would be in red and that she'd be in something glam. The second thing to think about is, once I know the vibe of the scene, what she's roughly going to be doing in the scene, I've got an idea of the sort of style and a kind of bit of an idea of colour. Then I start thinking about references, like who would Misty be thinking about when she put this outfit together? Who am I thinking about as somebody with involvement in this decision? What are my references for this kind of thing? And usually there are a couple of references that I'll play with. One that might be referenced in the book, and then one that's kind of just more for me. With the outfit from the cover of book 2, Missing in Soho, the US cover has Misty's opening outfit on it, and she's wearing a white suit and a big pink wig. And there were two references for this look that I thought about. The first one was maybe an obscure television reference, Audrey Raines in 24 with Kiefer Sutherland. I think she was the president's daughter or something. Anyway, in season 5 or some such, she shows up in this white trench coat. And as soon as she come in, episode 1, hour 1, I knew she was going to get shot in that trench coat. I was like, there's no way she's going to wear that white coat all the way through a series of 24 and for it not to be covered in blood at the end. And I knew my opening scene of Misty Divine 2 was a bit of a bloody one. It's not much of a spoiler to tell you a detective arrives, stabbed, and he tells Misty that she's in danger and she has to help find this missing person to get out of it. And I thought, wouldn't it be dramatic if she had that Audrey Raines moment? So she's head to toe in white, so that there's the amazing contrast visually of the white suit being ruined by the detective's blood. But then why is Misty wearing a white suit? I know why I want it, because I want this visual of Misty in white covered in blood. But why would she be wearing it? What's her reference? And Misty's reference for this, and that's what kind of helped decide would it be a coat or a dress or whatever it was Goldie Hawn in the final scene of, well, Goldie Hawn, Bette Midler and Diane Keaton, all three of them in white at the end of First Wives Club. That's a camp all-white reference that I could think of that would fit. So I made Misty's outfit for that moment, a kind of cropped jacket suit to match Goldie in First Wives Club. That's Misty's. What she got dressed for was to have a fantastic day as Goldie Hawn. But for me as the writer, knowing she's going to get covered in blood, it's Audrey Raines. She's starting that day in white and it's only downhill from there. Once I know the general look of the outfit and the vibe of the scene, then I start thinking about what goes with that outfit. So what would match with it in terms of hair, accessories, that sort of thing. When I'm thinking about hair, also thinking again about what fun references might there be. What might Misty be thinking about when she puts this look together? There's a scene in Missing in Soho coming out where she goes to confront a fellow drag queen, Auntie Susan, who is a much older queen who has for 40 years worn only red hair and white dresses. She's known for it, that's her look, and that's what she's worn for 40 years. And so when Misty goes to confront her, I knew I wanted to be in a sort of reflection of Auntie Susan. So I put Misty in red body with white hair. And then I was like, well, what's the look? What's Misty's reference? What she's decided for this look? So I thought, well, she's going to get answers. She's on a mission. It should be a sort of challenge Annika look. Like, that's a fun, Misty sort of hitting the streets to get some answers kind of thing. So I put her in a red jumpsuit and hair in a slick back, shiny ponytail so that she's bold, scary, red and white. She's a perfect reflection of Auntie Susan in the moment as the sort of young, hopeful hero queen versus the criminal, underworldy kind of drag queen, and the two of them have this sort of symmetry. So those are the sorts of things I think about when I'm thinking about hair colour and how it ties in with the outfits. Similarly for accessories, shoes, makeup, all of that. And the most important thing to think about once the outfit starts taking shape and I've got these really sort of finalised ideas is, how does the outfit interact with the world around her? And how does it impact how she interacts with the world around her? So, for example, if she's chasing somebody through Soho, can she do that in a pair of stilettos? Is the road that she's running down cobbled? Like, that's the serious question when I'm doing these action scenes, is realistically, could anybody do any of this? The same with the corset. Is she wearing an outfit that requires one? She might not always do, but if she is wearing a corset, how does that impact how she moves, how her body feels, how she feels at the end of the day when she takes the costume off, all these little things. And the underwear is especially important because the outside is what everybody sees of Misty. That's Misty's shell, that's her armour, her shield. But the underwear sort of gives an indication of how it feels to be Misty physically for Jo, who is Misty out of drag. And there's a nice bit in the start of book 1 where Misty talks about everybody thinks she looks perfect in this red dress that she wore for the first chapter, but she's hot and sweaty inside it because although it looks like a skimpy mini dress, she's wearing foam hip pads and 3 pairs of thick dance tights on top. So her legs are hot, her legs are sweaty, it's uncomfortable, drag is uncomfortable. And sometimes I see shows with drag queens in or drag kings in, drag performers, and the discomfort is never mentioned. and I think that's been written by someone who doesn't know. So I'm always trying to think about how does the outfit interact with the environment, and when is it important? If she picks up a phone really quickly, for example, is she wearing a big dangly earring, and does that make a clatter? Does it make are her rings getting in the way of stealing something out of a drawer? Or there's all these little considerations to think about. And the final thing I suppose I'd say about all of these outfits is that I put them together, I get the idea, I think to myself, can she do it in this look? Can she do it in these shoes? Should she do it in this look? Or is it better for this scene to be for this action to be dealt with by Jo, because Jo can get away with it in a pair of trainers and jeans? And that really forms a big part then of how the story itself is put together, because some things won't be possible for Misty, but will be possible for Jo. So the outfits, I'm glad people have noticed them, and thank you for the people who have said that they've enjoyed them and that they enjoyed the descriptions of them. I love writing them, and as you can see, I fully think them through, probably overthink them, and maybe this was like so boring, like listening to someone tell you their dreams. But it's my first attempt. I'm talking about my writing on the YouTube, and we'll see how it goes. That is how, for Murder in the Dressing Room and Missing in Soho, Misty Divine Mysteries, I dress my drag queen detective.